Hi you guys, welcome to Allie's Space 2 Craft, and I'm coming at you with a 2-page layout process for a cruise. I started this project on my retreat, but I didn't get to finish it before it was time to pack up. So the first part of this will be done at the retreat. So if the lighting is different, I apologize. And because it's at the retreat, I've had to voice over the whole thing just because there was so much activity going on. So the paper pack I'm using is Endless Summer by Echo Park. I have a large 8x10 photo that's the, your embarkation photo with my family. I have a page with some florals on it that I will eventually fussy cut. There's a fun striped page. The back of the floral is red. I won't end up using much of that red. I will use a little bit of it toward the end. Then I have this fun stripe paper. I'm not going to use the crab paper, but the stripes are fun. The reds are pretty similar, but I really like that stripe. The other thing I have is this shaped design. You'll see it in just a minute. So here I'm really just deciding what do I want to do with the stripes. And the back of that paper is sort of a tone-on-tone teals and dark blues. And so I think I'm going to use that to back a couple of photos. So this is really just the planning stage. When I did my page kits, I didn't do a layout or anything. I just threw in papers that I thought might work. I'm going to end up using 2 white pieces of cardstock for the outside, or for the base pages, and then build on them from there. So I did not follow a sketch for this. I'm just figuring out what I want to do. I know I want to use those stripes. They're very cruise-like. This is where I decide that I will back those photos with that dark blue paper. And I think I'm about to pull out this. So this is a sort of a pre-cut shape from Creative Memories. I've had it for years. They come in different colors and different shapes, and you get a package of, or used to get a package of 6 different ones. So this is a pretty bright yellow, kind of a sunny yellow. And I think my plan is, rather than try and put that on a single page, is to cut it in half and then use it. Right here I'm thinking I might use it in the middle of the 2 pages, half and half, but I do change my mind once I get it cut. And I use it for 2 different borders. So you'll see that in just a few minutes. And then I have this cruise cutout that I actually got on that cruise. They had some crafting opportunities, and so this was one of the items that they had available. It's not the greatest cut file, and there's a little bit of an error on the top of that anchor, but I come up with a plan to just hide that little issue. So this is going to change by the end of it, and I'm going to, rather than have the cruise title on the left page, I'm going to move it to the right. I'm sorry, rather than having it on the, words are hard, directions are harder. Rather than having it on the right-hand page, I'm going to end up moving it to the left-hand page. So I'm still deciding on my layout and figuring out. I think I'll put some stripes down at the bottom of one page and maybe some stripes at the top of the page as well. This is still a lot of deciding what I'm going to do. This is what happens when you don't use a sketch. It takes you a while to figure out your plan. There is a yellow stripe. I end up not using that. I consider it, but I do use the cut apart that says, I don't know what the question is, but the answer is probably at the beach. That's the one that I end up using. I've decided that I'm going to use that. I'm going to put it on the other page. And now I'm going to cut away and come back after I have decided on everything and finish the cutting in double time. So here we are, and I have sped this up, and I'll start. You can see I've sort of decided how I want that fancy cut shape. So it'll be a side border on the left and a top border on the right. I did consider flipping these pages completely, but chronologically the other two pictures are taken while we're waiting to board. And then this is as you get on board. And so I wanted the waiting to embark versus the embarkation. All right, so now I'm going to cut some stripes, a strip of stripes, if you will. And I considered, so I'll put one down there at the bottom. I like that. And then I'm going to cut another one, and I'm going to add it. So I thought about doing one on that side, didn't like that. I'm going to add it to the top of those yellow sections. So I'm going to decide how deep I want it. So I'm going to cut another strip of stripes. And I'm trying to make sure, the reason I'm being so fussy here is I'm trying to make sure I don't land on a yellow and that I'm landing on something that will stand out on that yellow paper. Then I'm going to approximate the same width of the strip. And even though they're different colors, it's still going to give the same look and feel on each of those strips. So I'm simply going to, see, I decided I wanted the white at the bottom there to help it stand out more. And then I'm just going to fussy cut around that using my Fiskars spring-loaded scissors that I love for fussy cutting. And this is not super fussy cutting. This is just a little trimming. All right, then that will go on top. Sadly, you do lose a lot of that shape, but it still makes it more interesting than just a square or a straight normal border. And they're in my stash. I need to use those things up. I've had them for many, many, many years. All right, so this was done on Sunday morning, and My friends are starting to pick up their stuff, and I'm probably at this point still in my jammies and have eaten breakfast and trying to work as quickly as I can to make progress on this page before I have to clean up. I was thinking about doing this in the red, but the red's not wide enough for me to use. And I think that I end up trimming the width of these photos and taking them down a bit more so that they will fit on the strip of matting paper that I have. So now I just need to figure out how I want those three things, and this changes when I come back to it. So I'm now back after a couple of weeks from my retreat, and I've sped this up to about 2 times because I do quite a bit of auditioning of different pieces in different locations, and that always seems to take a while. I'm not the fastest decision maker on pages, I don't think. Though in the next layout process I'm going to do, I did the whole thing in about an hour, which is really fast for me for a page. So here I've moved the title over. I'm still looking at it. Should it go on the left? Should it go on the right? That one's fun, but I also have all of those words on the big picture, Caribbean and all of that. So I think I can do something else and sort of balance out the 2-page layout by putting cruise on the left-hand side. And then I'll look for some embellishments to go up on that right-hand page. And you'll see what happens there. And then I need to find something sort of round to go there. So I'm going to pull out the sticker sheet and look for something round. And there's this little layered, it's not actually physically layered, but a little grouping of icons that looks great over at the top of the picture. Then I'm looking for some things, some flowers and different things to tuck in and around that cruise. So more investigating, trying to figure out. I'm going to trim, and I end up not needing to, but I'm going to trim this beach cut apart to be the same size as the photos, the matted photos. And so I do a little fussing with that. In the end, it didn't matter. I didn't really need to do this because I end up not lining it up in a grid pattern. But at this time, I thought I was going to do it a grid, make it sort of in a 3-part grid, and therefore I really wanted it the same size. That doesn't end up happening. And here I'm using my Creative Memories personal trimmer, which I really like and still use to this day. I do sometimes have trouble lining it up. If I haven't pulled that lever arm all the way to the top, then something will catch and then it won't be straight. So I just have to pay attention when I'm using it. So now I'm looking to see if I can use that red. I do find a different piece of red from the paper pack that I will use to back that, because I just think it's got a white background and a good part of it is sitting on white, and so I just need to mat it. And I think I'm going to use a different sheet of paper from that one. We'll see. Yeah, I'm going to use that one just because it's a little closer and in color to the other reds that I've used. I'm just going to do a tiny little border on that. I don't really measure my borders even for photos. I tend to stick it down and then eyeball it, and then if I have to pick it up and move it to get it even or change it in some other way, then I do that. And that seems to work for me. I know a lot of people know their measurements and do their exact measurements, but and see here, it wasn't quite even all the way around, so I just adjust it and make it even. So then this is where I start saying, oh, maybe I shouldn't do the full grid. I should vary it up a little bit. And then I'm going to fussy cut. I'm going to pull some more stickers to put on there. And I'm going to end up fussy cutting some of those florals to put on the page as well from the one of those pieces of paper. I did cut that out of the video because you don't need to see me fussy cutting for 30 minutes. I don't think it took me 30 minutes, but it was close. And here I'm just looking at this endless summer sticker sheet for little bits and pieces that will go. That's, I think, a starfish. I end up changing that out at the end to be the eye, the dot of the eye. All right, I like that tag that's on up there on the right-hand page, left-hand side. I think I also end up moving that photo up before the end. So here I go fussy cutting, and the fussy cutting is done. So you can see I just have a selection of different flowers there to the side. I didn't do a ton of them. I probably could have done more, but I was okay with what I did. So now I'm just adhering things down. I am using removable or releasable adhesive. It does seem to stick over time pretty well, so I'm not too worried. And this is where I start adjusting things, putting things at a slight angle just to make it slightly more interesting and tie things together so it's not quite so blocky. And that sign says, I'm not sure, I may have already said this, but I'm not sure what the question is, but the answer is probably at the beach or something like that. And that's what we use these cruises. We go a lot of times just out of Galveston near our house, and we use it as beach days. And that is what this one was. You know, leaving close to home and just getting 3 or 4 days at the beach and the pool and all the good dinners and the shows and all the fun on a cruise. So I do still have several cruise pages that I need to put together from this trip. I do have page kits, papers, and ephemera pulled for a few more pages that I didn't get to on my retreat. So I'll be posting those. Some are beachy, some will be in and around the ship or dinner pictures and things like that. That is my dog asking to go out. She may get insistent here in a minute. Okay, the puppies are out. I hung a bell from the door, and she just noses it when she wants to go out. She's pretty good about it. The younger dog is not so good about it. All right, so here I'm just doing some final touches. putting these things. I'm using Scotch adhesive, foam adhesive on these. It's easy. It comes in a big, huge roll. It lasts forever. Well, not forever, but a long time. And here I just got some twine that I had. And I did, I think, turquoise-y twine on this, just to pull out some of the turquoise colors that are in the ephemera. And I moved that. It had been sitting there that whole time, and I moved it, tucked it in so you can still see the Royal Caribbean logo and the word Caribbean. So I'm counting all of that, even that part of the picture, as a cluster rather than spreading it out. So I like that. I like that better. I'm committing to the title after all that time, and then starting with adhering down some of the floral ephemera that I cut, and then there'll be some more stickers that come out. I'm just checking to see if there's any more that I should cut out to put on there. But there are also some flowers. There's some sticker flowers as well that I'll do, and some leaves. So I'm just trying to finish out those clusters with some stickers and other things. That's a shell, because there's a shell up on the right hand page in that little string cluster. Let's see, I'm not sure if I pull much else out of that. So I cut away there because there was just a few more tiny little items of ephemera that I pulled off that sticker sheet. It was just sort of slow going, and I figured you guys didn't need to see it. But I will do some close-ups of the little clusters when I'm done with these enamel dots. So I was just trying to find the right colors for enamel dots, and I picked a navy blue, a light blue, and I think a green. And then I just do 3 little clusters of those associated with each ephemera cluster. And then the last one. So this is a pretty bright page. I'm glad that I used the white background to help everything stand out. I think it has a pretty nautical look to it. I did not use any stamps. I think that's my next challenge to myself, is to use some stamps. I do have lots of nautical stamps and die cuts and things, so I'm going to try and use some of those on the next pages that are associated with the cruise. I do have one more video, as I mentioned, that should be reasonably short by the time I edit it, and that is one of the days at the beach, and it's super bright yellow and bright pink. So I encourage you guys to take a look at that video after this one as well. So this 2-page layout is finished. If you guys have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Make any comments. I would love to hear your comments and suggestions, either on the page or about the videos, and I will read and respond to comments. And here's just some close-ups of what I did. I forgot to trim that off because I had put them at a little bit of an angle. just for interest. So like and subscribe to help grow my channel. I'm really enjoying it, and it's getting me up in my craft room. Even if I'm not videotaping, I'm spending a little more time and getting it organized. So thanks, you guys.